The first time my husband called Ryan family, everyone laughed. I didn't. Because the second the word left his mouth, I knew something was wrong. Terribly wrong. And deep down, I think Ryan knew it too. The barbecue was supposed to be simple. Just a late summer gathering at Noah's parents' lake house. Family, close friends, good food, a few drinks. The kind of weekend we'd attended dozens of times before. Safe, predictable, routine. My affair with Ryan had been going on for 13 months by then. Long enough that I had stopped viewing it as a mistake. Long enough that I had started viewing it as a second life. That's the dangerous phase. Not when you're sneaking around. Not when you're terrified. When you become comfortable. When betrayal starts feeling normal. Ryan worked for a commercial construction company that partnered with my employer. We met during a renovation project. Started talking. Started texting. Then eventually crossed every line that should have stopped us. By the following summer, I genuinely believed I had perfected the balance. Wife on one side, lover on the other. Neither world colliding, neither world discovering the other. At least that's what I thought. Noah never accused me, never searched my phone, never demanded explanations, never acted suspicious. If anything, he seemed calmer over the previous several months. Less emotional, less reactive, more distant. At the time, I interpreted that as trust. Now I understand it was acceptance. The acceptance that comes after the grieving is already finished. Ryan wasn't originally supposed to attend the lake house gathering. That had been my understanding. Then 3 days before the trip, Noah casually mentioned something during dinner. "Oh, I invited Ryan." My fork nearly slipped from my hand. "What?" Noah looked up from his plate. "Ryan." Shrug. "You talk about him constantly." Then a smile. Figured it'd be nice to finally meet him. I remember forcing a laugh, trying to look normal, trying not to panic. Because saying no would have looked suspicious, and saying yes felt dangerous. So I did what people do when they're trapped. I chose the option that delayed consequences, and hoped for the best. The lake house weekend started surprisingly well. Ryan arrived Saturday afternoon. Noah greeted him warmly, introduced him to relatives, offered him a drink, showed him around the property. Everything seemed normal. Too normal. Several times I caught Noah watching us, not suspiciously, not angrily, just observing. The way someone watches a movie after they've already seen the ending. That feeling stayed with me all day. Something wasn't right. I just couldn't identify what. That evening, everyone gathered on the back deck for dinner. About 20 people total. Noah's parents, his brothers, their spouses, several cousins, a few longtime family friends. The atmosphere felt warm, comfortable. Exactly the kind of gathering where nobody expects disaster. Halfway through dinner, Noah stood to make a toast. That wasn't unusual. He often did. People raised glasses. Conversations quieted. Noah smiled, then started thanking everyone for coming. His parents, the family, the friends. Normal. Completely normal. Then his eyes landed on Ryan. And that's when everything changed. "I also want to thank Ryan." The table turned toward him. Ryan smiled awkwardly, raised his glass slightly. Then Noah continued. "He's become family." Silence. Not complete silence. Not yet. Just enough for my pulse to spike. Ryan looked uncomfortable. I looked terrified, but nobody else understood. Not yet. Noah kept smiling. The same calm smile he'd worn all weekend. The same smile I was beginning to hate. Most people don't realize how much time Ryan has spent involved in our marriage. The world stopped. My stomach dropped instantly. Several people laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. Noah didn't laugh. Ryan didn't laugh. And I certainly didn't laugh. Then Noah took a sip of his drink, set the glass down, and said, "Honestly, at this point, introducing him as a friend feels inaccurate." The silence became heavier. People started looking between us, trying to understand, trying to solve the puzzle. Then Noah delivered the sentence that ended everything. "So I'd rather introduce him properly." Pause. "My wife's boyfriend." Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. It felt like every sound disappeared from the world. Ryan looked down immediately. Coward. That was the first thing I thought. Because the second reality arrived, he had nowhere to hide. My mother-in-law covered her mouth. One of Noah's cousins whispered, "Oh my God." His father stared at me like he didn't recognize me. And suddenly every eye at the table was focused on us. Noah remained calm. Terrifyingly calm. The calmness of a man who wasn't discovering betrayal. The calmness of a man finishing paperwork. "When did you find out?" I whispered. The words barely came out. Noah thought for a moment, then answered, "Last October." The room tilted. Last October. 10 months. 10 months. He'd known for 10 months. Every memory changed instantly. The holidays, birthdays, vacations, anniversaries. He knew. The entire time. Ryan finally pushed back his chair. "I should leave." Noah laughed softly. That's usually how these stories end. Nobody missed the meaning, because everyone was watching it happen. Ryan stood, grabbed his jacket, walked off the deck, and disappeared into the darkness beyond the lake. No dramatic speech, no declaration of love, no grand gesture, just escape. Exactly like every fantasy does when reality finally arrives. After he left, nobody knew what to say. The dinner ended less than 20 minutes later. People made excuses, collected belongings, avoided eye contact. One by one, the gathering dissolved, until only Noah and I remained on the deck. The lake completely still behind us. Then Noah reached into his bag, pulled out an envelope, and placed it on the table. Divorce papers, signed, prepared, ready. Again, the realization hit me. This wasn't revenge. Not really. Revenge is emotional. This felt finalized, like a chapter that had already ended. Months later, after the divorce was complete, I asked Noah one question. Why introduce him that way? Why call him family? Why do it in front of everyone? Noah thought about it for a moment, then answered quietly, "Because family is the people who affect your life the most." He paused. And whether either of you wanted to admit it or not, his eyes met mine. He'd been part of our family for a long time. I still think about that moment sometimes. The toast, the silence, the word family. But the worst part wasn't being exposed. It wasn't the divorce. It wasn't even watching Ryan leave. It was realizing that while I was busy protecting my secret relationship, my husband had already spent 10 months accepting the end of our marriage. And by the time he introduced my affair partner as family, I was the only person at that table who didn't understand the story was already over.